Welcome to Yarnchix Podcast, episode 35. My name is Mimi and I record my podcast in Berlin, Wedding, which is a certain area in the north of Berlin, working class, multicultural hood. I love living here, hence I called myself Liebwed, which is Liebeswedding or Dear Wedding on Instagram. We have a Yarnchix Podcast feed there too, and a Yarnchix Podcast group on Ravelry where you can find me and connect to me. I also have an Etsy shop where I sell pins and zines and all sorts. I will chat about all the things that might happen there in the upcoming December. Oh, it's almost December, I can't believe it. Which also means it's almost time for my Adventism specials, which is a podcast once a week. Welcome to my funky, chickeny, yarny corner of YouTube, where I talk about knitting, about mending, about sewing, where I try and have this community get involved. I read tarot cards and I report from a special thing each time. This time my knit reportage is the Berlin Yarn Crawl, which I hosted with my friend Katrin, and it was amazing. We had 8 Berlin yarn shops involved in our yarn crawls, so there was 4 shops per day, per group. We had 2 groups. It was really lovely. We had evening events, and obviously I filmed, I photographed, so I grabbed some footage and I'm going to edit that into this kind of medley with music for you to have kind of a visual impression of that weekend, which I loved. Renee Callan had come over from London to teach some amazing knitting classes, and in general I had the feeling everyone had a great time and found some nice yarns, met some new people. So again, community and growing and like real life connections is what I like and cherish about the knitting community. That actually with all that goes on in everyone's life, there's one thing that connects us like a red thread, and that is that we care for what we make. And I enjoy that. Medley of what's to come, also a bit of a visual door opener to the podcast. I hope you are nosy and intrigued. There's a couple of admin things. I have a Patreon page called Yarnchix Podcast on Patreon, where you can support me and my art, my podcasting. You can find blog content, vlog content. You can find all sorts. What I think is especially nice is that people have subscribed to my zine via Patreon. That's basically why I set it up, because I wanted to make it possible to give out these zine subscription. I do not give myself deadlines, but there's 4 zines per year. So there is the autumn one, which is upcoming, almost ready. I'm very excited to spend next week of like putting it all together and out there, and then it will be sent out to my Yarnchix zine subscribers. And only after about 10 days, so in this case early December, it will go up on my Etsy page, where I've currently sold out of this pin. It's called the Paper Boat pin, and I love it, and I'm so happy it sold out because it meant I got to donate 100 euros. Sorry, that was 10 times 10. 100 euros to Sea Watch Crew, which is charity and actually a group that has boats in the Mediterranean Sea, and it's all about saving lives out on the sea as refugees make their way across the Mediterranean. There is it's huge danger and risk, especially because it's often happens in these little dinghies of capsizing, and there have been a lot of losses of lives on the borders of Europe. It's absolutely crazy, and this charity is set up and is out there as one of several European or international charities to save lives out on sea of people trying to get across to Europe. So I know it's only like a little droplet of hope onto a hot stone of huge humanitarian crisis at the borders of Europe, and it matters to me, and I was so happy to donate 2 euros per pin to the Sea Watch Crew, and it sold out. And a couple of pins I gave away as a price, and I know it also sold out because you can maybe do the maths. I only had 50, but I'm still happy I got to do this donation and sold out. It gives me a lot of hope, and I've ordered the next lot. So in my Etsy shop there is the option to pre-order, and some of you might have already pre-ordered, so I think next week the pins will land and then they will be sent out right away to those who have pre-ordered. And I will definitely notify people on here. I guess with the first Adventism it should be back in stock. And I have just created a new pin in collaboration with my illustration friend Caroline Fred is also the woman behind all the little yarny hens in the zine that I collaborate with her on. Basically I kind of edit and write the zine and I pass it over to her, and she then adds in all these little characters and little illustrations to make it a wholesome thing. And I love that we work together like this regularly, and now we have come up with our first collaborative pin, which is the Yarnchix. It's a Yarnchix pin, basically a little hen knitting away, Portuguese style. I love her. I'm going to show you a little close-up. So as of today, this will be available in the Etsy shop, and I hope you like it. I'm extra happy and chuffed because I had created this, we had planned this and I'd sent off the order before the paper boat pin happened, but somehow it was forgotten about by the manufacturer, and hence I had a bit of a delay and wait. And I'm so excited the Yarnchix pin is here. It's been in the making since my birthday, or yeah, January this year. So November, and it's here. I'm very excited. Please watch out and yeah, have a look if you like it. There will be lovely photos, or there will be close-up photos so you can see what it actually looks like, so you have a better idea of the pin and the Yarnchix on it. Oh gosh, it's exciting to make these kind of bits of merch, and I love Cowell's illustrations, so I'm extra happy to have this out in the world now. Sorry, I shouldn't like that. Second bit of my admin is I will be teaching podcasting, a zine making and a careful knitting workshop at the Swiss Yarn Fest 2020. So in February, so it's February 29th till I think the 2nd of March, I will be in Switzerland, near Zurich, teaching these workshops. I'm super excited. I'm so happy I got the chance to first apply, then be accepted. And now I'm really hoping people book the workshops so I can teach these skills. I am talking about all the equipment that goes into podcasting, as well as, you know, writing a concept, coming up with all the things that you want to put into your podcast and how to make that. So it'll be like from the idea over to the technical side, setup, etc., and what you might need, what you might not need, to the actual filming and editing. So I'm going to try and teach all of that in a workshop. I'm very excited to do that. Zine making, again, it's more like an introduction to all the different ways of making a zine, and it will be very creative and out there, and I'm looking forward to just spending some time at a table with people, cutting up things. It's kind of like a cut and paste, real life session, and we will be making sure we get some of our knitting in there, and yeah, I'm super excited to teach those two. And careful knitting came from a little workshop teaser that I taught during Liebeswollen Ahoy. So I taught how to do the Portuguese purl in this kind of mini session to those who were interested. And on the back of that, I've decided I wanted to teach more in that area of like how different knitting styles can improve how you hold your shoulders, how you move your hands, that every knitting technique will involve your hands or fingers being used in a different way, and how that can be actually good if you're suffering from overworked wrists and tensions in your shoulders, or you know, maybe some of your joints are suffering. If you knit as much as me, I guess you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I'm very excited because this will be quite a small group, so that we can make sure that everybody finds an answer to a question, or finds out about a way to, you know, relax whilst knitting. To travel to Switzerland at the end of February, so I can't wait. Maybe I will see you there. Please do consider joining me for the workshops. I would love that. So the last bit of admin is the make-along administrational stuff. Magic 3 Mile is well and truly wrapped up. All the presents have gone out there, and hopefully arrived with most of the people. The main prize is traveling all the way to New Zealand, so Frankie will probably wait the longest. It's gonna take some time. Excited about that. And Lino Mukakal, there is a little whoop, 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 bit popping up back in here. Lino Mukakal was so much fun, and Zara Berlin knitter won the overall prize. It was drawn with random numbers from the chatter group in my Ravelry, and now she said, Mimi, draw another prize and I will send it out to whoever you draw and put yourself in the hat as well, Mimi, because we all knitted the Mount Pleasant tee or all sorts of kind of summer tops, summer shawls, crochet bags, you know, there was all sorts in our make along, and we were using Lino Mucka from Wollen Berlin, and it was kind of a collaboration with Ruta that we had this knit along. It was so much fun. Yeah, and so all those who were involved in the chatter in the Ravelry group have now basically qualified for a new prize. So I've mixed it up. I've written all our names on here. So, and the winner of Sarah's prize is Lieke. You're gonna get a little Lino Mucka surprise in the mail soon. I'm gonna organize it with Sarah. I'm very happy your green Mount Pleasant tea was delicious. There was lots of green Mount Pleasant teas, and next summer we're gonna try and all stand in a line of Mount Pleasant teas in this rainbow of greens. I'd love that. So Lieke, you have won the kind of surprise Lino Mucka prize that Zara, who is Avitor on Ravelry, is generously sponsoring. I'm so happy she is here as one of my friends. Yeah, in other news, because that was it, I've wrapped up all the make-alongs that I hosted this summer. I'm excited that we had a chance to make along. Other news I was going to say is that I'm working at Wollen Berlin now, and you know, if anything, you probably know how amazing it is to be in a yarn store, let alone work there. Now I get to meet all these inspiring people walking in the door, and you know, I get to help and I get to see all these products rolling in and out, and I'm very excited because I will be selling quite a bit of Lino Mucka, I hope, and obviously also knitting, carrying on knitting with linen. So very excited for Ruta has a great concept for the store, and it is kind of the shop's own yarn brand. Lino Mucka is 100% linen, and then there's linen fabrics, which maybe I will start with that. So into podcasting. The linen fabric from Ruta was one of the things I used, and I'm going to show you a little clip of photographs, like a little medley of what my sewing machine and I got to make. Sewing for Wattle Kids handmade, and the pattern is called the River Pinafore. I used these different fabrics for the bib, as the pattern includes a little patchwork bib instructions, which I love. The inside is the poppy fabric that features here, and the main fabric is the linen from Lino Mucka. Well, it's not Lino Mucka linen, but it's linen from Wollen Berlin. I'm super happy I got back into the sewing. I still haven't made the dress I want to make myself, but you know, it's a start. I hand stitch the hem, which I enjoy, so I iron it and pin it, and then I use it with this almost invisible stitch. Hand stitch has been really good for me to get into sewing again, because it slows me down. I always had the issue that a sewing machine generally runs away with me a little bit, or I get carried away and it just makes so many mistakes, hence I have to unpick quite a lot of my work. And this kind of tedious combination also of having a sewing machine that is not very fit had made it a bit of a hassle for me to even start sewing. So this was a great start to get back into the sewing. The River Pinafore by Lisa, who is Lisa Jenkins, who is Wattle Kids Handmade, and you can buy the pattern through her website. As part of the sewing test, I also made this paper bag style skirt, because the pattern comes with the option of 2 different skirts that you can also make. So the elasticated waistband I made with this linen from Berlin, and the fabric for the skirt is a Westfalenstoff, which is from Frau Tulpe, a Berlin fabric store, and I'd stashed this fabric for so long. Actually, I've got much more of it, because I was going to make these curtains for the shepherd's hut with them, and when I decided that I will help along in this sewing test, which I might have done okay, I'm not sure. I love what I made, but the communications and deadlines and all of that kind of rolled over me so quickly after finishing the sewing. I wonder if any of my words had made sense to Lisa, but in any case, I've loved sewing these items for my daughter. She really likes this skirt, however she didn't want to wear the pinafore, which is a typical thing. I'm gonna just see. I might give it to her best friend, who loved it when she tried it on. So, especially her mum went, "Oh my God, this is so pretty." You know, it might be a nice present for my daughter, for her friend, for Christmas, and then they can, you know, almost twin. She likes doing that anyway. Like, she likes more tomboyish shorts, trousers, jeans kind of style. So I should start and acknowledge that in my making. I keep trying. But this means my sewing block is slowly dissolving, especially because I'm hand stitching buttonholes and the hem and, you know, stuff like that. So I think this will help me get on with my sewing bit by bit. I know I need to carve out a lot more time for sewing than kind of picking up your knitting a bit, putting it down, or my commuter knitting, which I'm about to share with you. Yeah, sewing is like a new horizon. It's there, as is, you know, my making is always in my mind, on my thoughts. Maybe I often have the sense of urgency, which doesn't help. I'm gonna learn for myself to give myself time and actually do that, like carve out a Monday, a Friday, a Sunday to really prepare my sewing. A Monday, a Sunday, a Friday. This is how my schedule is. To then, you know, start the sewing and maybe stop it again, and then another day to finish, you know, for all that finishing, and, you know, just making sure to acknowledge it's a 3-day thing or 3 half days, or, you know, that I do not try and do it all in one go. So I'm learning, and I'm here for that. I'm here for, you know, sowing these seeds and growing these thoughts of how I can accomplish my sewing and how I can achieve things without the risk of frustration or too many mistakes. Knitting wise, I have got a finished object, but I left it at the shepherd's hut, so I test knitted something for Midori Hirose, who is a designer from Germany, but originally Japan. She lives in the north of Germany, in Bremen, not far, and I had a huge joy of actually meeting her for the first time at Berlin Knits in 2017, a big Berlin festival. And that's how I met her and found out about her work. She was wearing the amazing an uncle sweater at the time, so we got chatting because of that. And you know, I've already said yes to her next test knit, so I'm very excited. And I test knitted the dot dot dash sweater, yet left it at the Shepherd's Hut when I last visited and took the photographs there. I'm gonna add in some photographs just so you see what I'm talking about. So there, you would have had a bit of a glimpse of the dot dot dash sweater, which I knitted in a short sleeved version with my own plant dyes. So onion skin for the orange, and tansy, which gave it a kind of yellowish hue, and then indigo for the minty textured stripes at the top. I will talk about this next time. I'm really sorry, Midori. I'm such a goof. So, what am I knitting at the moment? I picked up the Penguono project, which I started working on in 2016, 2017. I do not know. I should double check. Maybe I've put it in Ravelry. I do hope so. So it is my strawberry minty. So I'm using this pink, and it's the perfect time to show you because it's actually this very long front, then armpit, back, the other armpit, and the second front. So it's a long strip of knitting at the moment, just before the kind of shoulders get joined and then the sleeves get added and all the other shebang. So there's still quite a lot of work left with this, but it's a good time to share and show it because it's this nice long shape where you can see all the colors and textures together. I made a mistake and my strawberry pink berry front was a bit too short. I cast on the same amount of stitches after knitting the armpit region then on the other side, but somehow I must have been using like a smaller needle, a thinner marled combination of yarns. Anyway, only when I was like halfway with the front I realized that it was actually lacking them. Hence I added this kind of, I call it my David Bowie kind of, you know, zigzaggy. That's kind of what I'm going for with the kind of contrasting add-on stripes. I might, I did some short row stuff with it, which I think I'm gonna undo again and try it again. So it'll become more zigzaggy maybe. I'll see. So I'm playing around with this, but I really like the effect of this kind of added frame. I had a similar issue in the armpit region when I when I knitted the penguono for the first time, making a mini version. I basically just downsized the pattern to child size by using smaller needles and making everything a bit more miniature. 2016, 2017, like, I think I finished it around Christmas. Oh, and I'm coughing, I'm really sorry, but I've used this mohair yarn, and whenever I pick up this project now, I sneeze and I cough. Please don't let it be like that when I wear it, because I'll be like, oh my god, I've spoiled it for myself. Sorry, that was a bit of a sideline of worrisome knitter thoughts. But yeah, I have these art yarns added. This is a Miyake, did I say that right? So I bought some Japanese art yarns during the yarn crawl, which you will see the knit reportage of at the end, and you'll probably see it in the pictures of my yarn haul. and I really like this texture that it kind of created. And the second one I bought is this kind of manifold colored rainbow blue pink. However, there's some mohair in there which really tickles my throat. Other mohair doesn't do this, so I wonder if that, maybe I should just block it and see, and hopefully it's not. Oh my god, I hope it's not gonna be like that. It just tickles my throat. I hope it's not an allergy of sorts. Somebody said, maybe you're allergic to mohair. I'm like, oh my god, I work in a yarn shop. Yeah, very excited. This has been kind of a companion of adding in leftovers and some treasured special yarns. This one is Lavindol. And I really like this. It was a friend delivered it from Yarndale, Elke, who was selling her yarn there. She's the owner of Tulliver Yarn, a Berlin-based plant-dyed yarn company. Yeah, I asked her, can you bring me this? Because I really like this rainbowy speckle. Then during the Berlin Yarn Crawl, I added this, and you know, all these kind of different qualities in my penguono for me. I especially love this color. It's very much like my daughter's, so I just kind of took inspirations from the first penguono I knitted, and yeah, I reckon it's gonna be a bit boxy because this is not as big as it is in the very oversized penguonos. Hence I started to make kind of biggish armpit areas to make it boxy and square looking. It will have more length added down here, so you know, well, let's see. Let's call this a good work in progress, to be shared again next time at the beginning of December. I'm so happy. I'm so happy because of the colors and the fun it is. And I've just dropped it. Drop! Works in progress are socks, because I'm a commuter and I knit socks when commuting. I started a pair of Kia socks for myself, and this was actually the first skein of my Edinburgh Yarn Fest 2019 yarn haul that I dug out and skeined up, caked up and started knitting. It is this amazing Phileas yarn from Sylvie, who has a podcast. I love her podcast, go check it out. Sylvie dyes out of York. She's a French maker and creative, and she sews a lot, she knits a lot, and she dyes yarn beautifully speckled. I'm so happy she was there. I bought it of her, and it was kind of like one of those things where I bought myself a surprise skein of sock yarn. So I'm extra happy to be knitting Kia socks. They are actually halfy Kia halfies, because in my mind I changed the pattern and it's a 2x2 rather than a 4x4 pattern repeat, so I kind of halved Dawn's pattern. Sorry, Dawn. I don't know how it happened. It just in my mind it was like I was just doing the same thing again like last time, But yeah, I only realized when I took the photos that they somehow look different. The yarn is so nice and busy, it kind of still is a Kia sock. You can still see it's that texture, and it's still Dawn's pattern. But in order to get going with my Christmas knitting, I have cast on a real Kia sock as well. So you can see the difference maybe. Here it's a 4x4, it's always 4 stitches repeating, and here I only did 2 repeating. I still think, there'll be lovely Kia socks. I gave away the Kia socks that I was knitting at EYF when I bought this yarn for Kia socks, so it's kind of good to carry on. Especially when I started knitting this one, I was remembering it was really interesting for me to be knitting this sock and having these kind of flashbacks of sitting and knitting. When in Glasgow, I spent 2 days by myself as a sort of luxurious mama alone time for my birthday. I got this as a present from the family. I was knitting Kia sock, and yeah, it kind of took me there. I was just sitting in the same cafe. I had that crazy flashback of sitting in Glasgow and knitting whilst traveling, and so I love that about knitting, that by repeating a pattern, like knitting it again, you can sort of transport yourself back to a moment in time. It's something I wrote about in the Yarnchix zine issue number 6, about how we as knitters have this opportunity for time travel. It's all about opening up those windows of time and stretching time with knitting. I believe in it, call me crazy. I think we can stretch time either direction somehow as knitters, and that is why we are so into this, because we have these moments where we see how we are working in time and with time. Maybe also when we wear them, we remember things. I don't know. For me, loop by loop time is, I don't know, time is shaped somehow around my knitting. And yeah, again, call me crazy. I definitely had a flashback with this. It's a sock for my son whose birthday just happened, and I'm a bit crazily trying to tidy up our messy creative home for his friends to come over for the party. Hence, sorry, I'm a bit chatter crazy in this podcast today, because I have all that on my mind. We're gonna make our own sushi. It's gonna be a birthday at home, and I'm gonna create a little menu, and then we'll kind of sit together, create a lunch, and he will have this Kia sock for Christmas. It lives in the John Arban little pouch with it's a lana grossa soya yarn, so actually some of the fiber, it's wool, big viscose, which is soya in this case, and still some poly, so it's kind of like a blend in the speckled color. I like it because it's kind of like a summery yarn. It's less hot or warm, which I think he will like it. And I'm kind of trying it out for work because we sell this at Volvent, where I also work. So I work in 2 wool shops in Berlin. And I wanted to maybe knit a sample sock with a leftover after knitting him 2 socks. This is Kia sock half, and I am keeping it in this amazing Yarnchix custom-made project bag by Ideenwerber. She has an Etsy shop. Please check out her shop. She created this as a thank you for the pop-up market which I organized and she was a part of during the Berlin Yarn Crawl. You will see her little table with all the treasured bags on it, and we're working on something special together, so let this be a little glimpse of what may come and what may happen. But I'm so happy to know Angela, and Angela is a super creative Berlin maker who creates these color work fabrics and then sews project bags, and she made this especially for me. I love this bag, and it's perfect for socks. Could be a notions pouch, but I use it for my sock project. So that's the two pairs of socks I'm currently knitting, and more in my head, more being planned, plus the penguono. So you've seen some of my Whippalicious work in progress. I'm gonna do a bit of a different swatch story this time, because my dear Patreon zinists, so I have people subscribing to an extra podcast on my Patreon page, they got the full shebang. They got the swatch stories for 10 swatches, which I made for my Tink Brexit project. Tink Brexit meaning unknitting Brexit. Again, this idea of being able to bend time and stretch it and maybe unravel some of the Brexit BS that has been going on, both in real life, in family, and in politics, and the consequences that this political mess in England, Wales, Ireland and Scotland as mothership to the Commonwealth will happen worldwide. And you know, call me a conspiracy freak, I do think this can become a huge mess, especially as it already is a big mess. Sorry, I'm turning into that ironic voice, Mimi, but I don't want to do that. I'm just saying my nerves are basically bare. They're like frayed at the end. They're open, they're like dangling here, and I do not want to really think about it too much, but I do want to unknit it. I want to work backwards and go and try and unravel some of this confusion, some of the mistakes, and reknit them. And tinking it is, I kind of like that term. I learned it from a Canadian visitor of the yarn roll, and tink it is for me. Tink, knit backwards. So I'm going to introduce the 10 swatches that I made, but as I told the swatch stories already, I'm going to do this in a really special way. Basically, you will see 10 swatches. I will tell you the yarn and the name of the pattern, and you will get to join a giveaway, because woo, we're 700 subscribers here. I can't believe it. And I've got 3,000 followers on Instagram. I really, honestly, thank you for being around. Because I'm so excited that my community around the podcast is now 700 people and my Instagram has grown to 3,000, I thought, well, I'm gonna host a little giveaway in my Ravelry group. So, if you wanna play, please subscribe here. Maybe you've already subscribed. Then head over to the Ravelry group, and in a thread that I will have opened, which is gonna be Yarnchix giveaway November episode 35. Yeah, let's write that. Please comment with the swatch that you want me to, the swatch project which you want me to cast on ASAP, because I cannot decide. I've swatched 10 different projects and I will introduce them to you here now, and you will get the chance to just vote. Just tell me, you know, swatch 10, swatch 5, whatever, and then I will look through all of that and draw a winner. And please comment just the once to make it kind of fair, like with whatever swatch you want me to cast on. And then I will draw a winner from that thread, like, you know, a subscriber winner, yes! And you will win a Yarnchix pin and a Yarnchix calendar, which I'm gonna go and get, and I'm going to show you a close-up now of the price, and then we'll go into the Swatch story, giveaway, show and share. So you can win the Yarnchix pin and Yarnchix calendar for the year 2020, which is a photographic calendar of all these different calendars available in my Etsy shop, and one person will win a calendar and a pin from my little Yarnchix giveaway. So, Swatch stories. Swatch 10. Arbusto sweater, rosa pommade, and Brusca yarn as well as Mundim yarn for multicolored baubles on natural kind of beige Brusca yarn. 9. A Lopi cardigan, copycat project for a kind of brioche cardigan by a big Spanish company that's very popular. Baba. I'm sorry, I shouldn't really be doing that, but I want to make this cardigan rather than buy it because I can't afford it. 8 is basically already disqualified because it is a work in progress, and I've almost started the sleeves because I want to do a tubular cast off for the ribbing of this flax. So number 8 is flax in Woolcut Yarns. Opus is amazing. It's this super light alpaca wool blend, and this dark, let's say black, but it's grey, black anthracite. It's one skein, and it's a kid's size flax sweater. So 8 is disqualified, so do not comment 8. But that was my swatch for Tink Brexit swatch, which was the ribbing, and it turned into a project, because some days you want to cast on already. 7, the batwing formula, which also some days you want to cast on. So I've cast on the cuff for the batwing formula by Majesta, who's Atelier Majesta on Instagram, using Hallo Wolle. Hallo Wolle is Alicia's yarn, who dyes in Zurich and sells on Etsy, and I love this color, and it will have lino muka sleeves. So I would cast on this, carry on knitting with lino muka if you comment with number 7. 6, this mini Siki shawl, a Dawn Landix pattern from Ravelry with these amazing tassels that I can't wait. I'm going to use the Phileas yarn for the tassels, and the main part of the shawl is a yarn from Blue Moon Indigo, Scottish indigo dyer. 5, I'm gonna take it off, La Honte, is this Greta's vest knitted in South Downs yarn and L'Atelier Fibrelaine. Again, a plant dyed yarn, and the Greta's vest is a pattern from Kids and Cuddle, which is a Berlin design duo, friends of mine, Linda and Saskia, and I really like the Greta's vest. I have knitted it for my daughter, and I would knit it for my friend's baby, so that was number 5. Number 4 is the swatch. I'm really sorry, Lavande. I've got to undress Lavande. Is this skirt is the swatch for the hibiscus sweater, which is a sweater by Midori Hirose, who's Knit Cafe Midori, and the hibiscus sweater is a kid's version of her adult sweater. I forgot the name. And I'm using a deep stash yarn, this kind of fluffy alpaca. 3. The syrup waffle cardigan swatch, which is designed by Francesca Hughes Knitwear for John Arbon Textiles, Swaples and Harvest Hues. Oh god, I've got it upside down. So this is swatch number 3. Swatch number 2 is this. I really like the stripes. It's the PP sweat. It's a swatch for the PP sweater by Rebecca Mauser, which she designed for Magazine Duet Blues. So the yarn is called Blues. It's a woolly, but when you knit it, it still has the oil, the spinning oil in it. So it's a really quick knit. And then when you soak it and wash it, it comes out and kind of yarn blooms quite a lot. So this is swatch number 2. Swatch number 1 for the soiree sweater by Emily Foden from her book Knits About Winter, and I used Sheila's Deer plant dyed. I've got it here, so I might as well show it. This indigo dyed with Tilia, which is a silk mohair that is sold at Wolln Berlin. So I found almost the perfect blue and swatched with them together. I really like how the mohair halo adds to this indigo. So that is swatch number 1. And swatch number 0, because number 8 is disqualified, is for the Azor sweater by Olan Sush, and she designed it for Mondim yarn, which I used this kind of purple Mondim here as the contrast color, and I used Coburger Fuchs for the main color. I'm not sure if it has worked. I need to swatch again. I want to use the La Bien-Aimée Mondim special yarn that I bought at EYF, so this would be another EYF. Oh, this was also EYF bought, and so was this. So lots of EYF yarns have been swatched with, which I'm really happy, because my stash is basically calling my name, and I'm all ears. I'm like here for it. So stash buster of this treasure for the Azor sweater, combined with Coburger Fuchs, which is a naturally kind of reddish tinted cream yarn, and I knitted the full moon wrap with this yarn already, and I love it. So these are the 10 swatches and some cast-ons. But I would be delighted if you joined my giveaway by commenting in the Ravelry group with a number and maybe your reason why I should cast on said swatch project into a real work in progress, because I'm working on the penguono and on the socks, but I'm ready for one of these. I just can't decide. I love them all dearly, and it was an eye-opener for me to swatch so intensively these 10 days running up to the Brexit dates on Halloween. And I kind of slowed down, cast on, so I knitted these until the 4th of November, so I really enjoyed it. It was very good to do, and it helped me to do these knit dreams. I'm excited for cast on times, and so is Lavande. She was so lucky to receive some of my swatches, Gone Teddy clothes. I think She's amazing. She's the teddy that I got from Fran, who is Woolen Hearted. And Fran is also hosting the November Spin Along 2019, which brings me to kind of the end bit of the podcast, because I'm going to start spinning this month. And I've prepared everything. I'm going to spin the wheel. I wanted to show you my summer results. So these are hand spindled yarns that I made, and I had huge issues with applying. I've got so much practicing to do, so much practicing to do still. But I'm gonna basically use the bats that I had and used with my hand spindle in July. I'm gonna use that on the spinning wheel. I've got 100 grams left of this very delicious bat. It's Honoraire fibers, I hope I've pronounced that right, by Caroline, who is Marin Rosette, and her partner, they own a mill in Sweden, and it's lovely. It's very natural. There's a little bit of straw in it, and I loved how this bat has dyed into this sort of I think it's called grapefruit, and it's kind of like the sunset, and I can't wait to spin this up on the wheel. It has lived crushed up in this paper bag and waited for me to carry on since I'd made these two minis using their fiber, and yeah, I'm gonna use a wheel. My friend Judith, who is Cuniberta on Instagram, and she sells the Goonie bags, she basically lent me her old wheel, and I'm gonna test it out, because if all goes well, I potentially will buy the wheel of her. I can't wait. She's up here. I'm going to show you pictures and a little film of that, but I haven't started spinning on the wheel yet. I'm going to take my time with it. It will happen this month because I'm part of this spin along. But yeah, please check out Fran's, check out the November sale 2019. Oh, I won't pack it. And my kind of little contributions there already. I've written some, and see what else is being spun and who else is involved. I'm super excited, and yes, I will get going this weekend. So November sale 2019. Thank you so much, Fran, for Lavant and the spinning inspirations and everything you are to me. Like the toy making inspiration per se, I'm also starting on the whole Christmas thing. So I can show you again from stash and my EYF haul. I'm using South Downs yarn to make a little lion, Winston Leon, which is a pattern from Cynthia. She's actually called on Instagram from Cynthia Vallée. And her toy making, well, I think it's Odile Cal. We'll have to look it up on her page, but it's she's just released the Bunny Odile, and there is a make-along for her toys. So I'm gonna carry on with Winston Lane, whose nose I've got but no more, and I can't find it. I just found the yarn, so either I've lost the nose or I've got to cast on again. So I'm very excited to make Winston. I think the knit along runs until Christmas, and that's perfect. So using Louise South Downs yarn plant dyed for the line. I can't wait. So this will be the main, and the whole body will be in this really bright yellow. Excited. Now leading in or over to the Yarn Pro knit reportage, and then my tarot card for this week. This week my tarot card is actually quite a lot to do with all these festivals and meeting people in real life. It's talking about, or I'm asking myself about this moment of knowing someone on screen, how it is when that jumps off screen. So trying to create this question of these two worlds, like at the crossover of like a social media character and then the real life meeting, because I know about myself that I'm the same either place, but I do know that some people might find it a bit funny meeting me, and the more I happen to meet people at festivals, I sometimes know they might know me from my podcast or maybe my Instagram, because I write a lot and I show my face a lot, or I don't know, but so I get these, you know, recognition moments, but then I might not recognize people back, and it always makes me feel a bit awkward if I don't know them or if I can't respond in the right way. Also because I don't want to make the mistake of offending someone or making someone feel uncomfortable. I don't, you know, I know it's kind of socially awkward how this crossover happens, social media, real life. But I wanted to just ask about how does this work, and how does this work especially with this idea of being, it's not even radical, but, you know, asking for responsible action in our surroundings online and offline, and, you know, diversifying and being aware of, you know, when people are being somehow exclusive, as in, you know, making others feel like they're not part of something. It's kind of a way of marginalizing, and I know that maybe because I do not recognize people, I might make people feel awkward. But, you know, no harm intended, and I'm trying to work out how we can work on this crossover for it to be less awkward and more natural and more there, you know, because that is what I want to be. I want to be there for people. That's why I have the Patreon, so that I can grow my support and grow the possibility of me traveling to people to places, to meet more people that know me through the podcast, and to connect and build this community further and connect people in that community, as I know a lot of people are just so amazing, like the Magic 3 Mile crew. I mean, so many amazing friends have been made, and I kind of like that, you know, hosting knit circles and knit meetups elsewhere or in Berlin. That's already kind of where I feel kind of called to do, called to act on, and I just want to ask the tarot cards about this bridging. Let's see what the tarot cards think about that. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the knit reportage of one of those moments of building bridges. We met lots of new people, mainly Ravelry, friends, new people and creatives from Berlin. There were connections made or rebuilt or built upon that had already started growing through the knit circle, and are just more intense as we had a beautiful knit night with a pop-up market and a panel talk. I feel like that's the kind of stuff I would love to do more of, and yeah, I want to show some glimpses in the knit reportage. So sit back, relax, and have a little look at how that weekend of the 4th and 5th of October went for us here in Berlin. My crew from Liebeswedding Strick were there and representing, and, you know, inviting more people to come more regular. The last knit night we had was well visited. We had lots more people show up, and I'm extra happy about that. It was slightly too dark in the pub where we went, and I know people complained, and I always feel like, yeah, but I can't do anything about the light. I wish I could. And I can't always bring light, so we're trying out a new place. Details at the very end of the knit reportage of where we're meeting and when. So we think there will be better light there. We'll just keep going, innovating in different bars and cafes and places. We want to explore this area, and we want to visit different places every now and then. So have a look, and thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone or anything. Feel free to join the Yarnchix giveaway for a pin and a calendar via the Ravelry group. I'm excited to hear what you think I should be knitting next. From this mountain of swatches, what should I knit? What's going to be knitted first? I honestly can't say. and see you soon. Bye. Läuft. Wir müssen dieses Garn in dem tollen Lager der Fadeninsel finden. Okay, also hier ist schon mal Naturult, das ist zumindest im Regal. Oh mein Gott, ist es das hier oben? Mm. Nee, aber die sind gefärbt. Ja, die ist dicker. Ja, die ist viel dicker. Ah, hier ist so wie Lopi. Oh, hier ist sogar Lopi. Ist das Lopi? Ich hab's gefunden! Nee, echt.
Ist es das?
Aber ich hab's Regal gefunden.
Ja, ich glaube auch, du hast das Regal gefunden. Jetzt bist du noch das richtige Garn. Du hast ja noch viel Zeit. Du bist gut in der Zeit.
Ja, okay, ich habe viel Zeit, aber ich muss trotzdem das Licht anmachen hier. Ich hab's gefunden. Also erstmal, ich habe die Qualität gefunden. Ja. So, Zeuge. Und dann muss ich am besten stoppen in meinem Telefon.
Ich habe gerade, hat sie mir das gesagt.
Auch mit dir? Wie schön das. Schön. Es ist leider hier unten doch dunkel. Bye.